So for a quick little example here with our Arduino board, making a really simple circuit. So you can copy what I have here. So I have just an LED and a resistor, and I have a wire going from the ground up to my negative or cathode part of my LED. And then from the positive anode, it's going to the resistor and to terminal 13. And this is important to put it in 13 for this one. So let's check our resistor resistance. So for LEDs, let's just always do 220 ohms. This is kind of a good little middle ground here. Let me check. Yeah, that looks good. So kind of moving forward, whenever we have a resistor with an LED, we'll just do 220 ohms. That's what that symbol is. So you might have noticed that if you do start simulation right now, it's going to have your LED blink on and off. And you can even see this little LED on the board is also blinking. So, and that is because there's already preset code in here. So this, when you bring in an Arduino, it's always going to have this basic code. If you click this code button, you can see it in here. So these block coding is really similar to like scratch coding if you've done that before. And you can see that it says set built-in LED to high, wait 1 second, set built-in LED to low, wait 1 second. So that's really controlling this LED here, but this 13 port is connected to it. So because of that, it's doing both of them at the same time. So that pin 13 is the built-in LED of this board. So one thing that is helpful when you're doing this code, especially more complicated things, is using this notation area. So this title block comments, these comments don't affect your code. They're there to help you understand your code. If you look back at it, or if it's really complicated and you want to like clarify what's happening with your code, you can use the title block to describe the entire code. So like this program blinks pin 13 of the Arduino. So that's telling me what this whole program is doing. I can also add comments in. So I can put one here. So this next set of blocks turns the LED on. So high is on, low is off. And I could add another one. Turn the LED off. So that just explains what that next set of code is doing. So in here we have wait 1 second. We could obviously change that to 0.5 or 2. And if you run that, you can see how that changes the pattern of it being on. So it's on for half a second, off for 2. I'm going to put that back to just normal. So it's really easy to change things. There are drop downs. This one has secs or milliseconds, so seconds or milliseconds. We can change high, low, and these are all color-coded blocks in here too. So output, like controlling our LEDs or any sort of output, is blue. Input, like if it's getting info from a sensor, is purple. Control, so our loops and waits and if then else's are in here as yellow. So another really cool thing about Tinkercad circuits and doing Arduinos in here is that you can learn the basics with block coding because it's a lot simpler. And in this little drop down, we can do blocks and text, so it shows both. So it shows exactly how this block coding would translate into the text coding to actually control the Arduino. So, and it adds those comments in there. So anything with a double slash in front of it, that is a comment, and the computer basically skips over that line of code and doesn't do anything with it, but it's there as like the writer of the code, or if somebody else were to look at your code to understand it, you know what's happening. So like in the other videos that you watch, you know that there is a void setup area and a void loop. So in this setup for this one, we have pin mode, the LED built in, returning it as an output. So that basically is telling us that that built-in LED, that pin 13, it is becoming an output to control that actual LED, that red LED we have on there. So this is where you would tell the different pins what it's doing. In our loop is where it keeps repeating this over and over again. So it still has those same comments I put in. So the turn LED on, how we would write that in our code is digital write LED underscore built in, comma high, all that stuff. And then the delay in actual code, it's always written in milliseconds. So 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So we could change even in here. So we can't change right now. When you're in blocks plus text, you can only change your block code. And if I were to move stuff around here, so if I did 0.5, you can see that it changed the delay here, but I can't type anything in my text areas just to kind of show you how it translates. If you switch to full text and it warns you that you can't go back to block mode, but that's okay for right now. And that you can now type in here. So I could change both these to 500 milliseconds, and now our light will blink faster. And you would then, like if you change the code, obviously I'd want to change the comments to be 500 milliseconds to match what is happening with the code and the program. So that's a very quick overview of what you're doing with this. So for this just quick little video assignment, you're just going to take a screenshot or a picture of your little circuit you built and your text code with changing the delay. Do something different than the 1000 or the 500. Make your own little pattern in there. If you want to try and add in more, totally can. You can play around too. So like if I wanted to make it go on and off some more, I could even just copy and paste this and change my delay. So maybe this first time through, I want it to be 700, waits 500, and then it waits 200, 800, and you can see what changing code, what the pattern does to it. So, you can play around a little bit, add some more, create a cool little pattern with your light, and turn in a little screenshot showing your circuit board here and your text code.